Hi Libra, let's try this again. I was live before, but now I'm just going to record and upload. So, we were talking about, Libra and what it means to be a Libra, as far as trusting and being receptive and being open to others' opinions and others' ideas, being very good at social grace, very eloquent, right? You can be, especially when you turn it on. Also, you try to be as fair as you possibly can be, but when you run into obstacles because you understand that you can't always be fair, right? Because your idea of fair isn't someone else's idea of fair. So there you go. Now you're not being fair because someone else thinks that you're not being. So you have to understand that, just because you think a decision or a way of doing things or an idea or, whatever it is might be best for you, that doesn't mean that it's best for everyone. But, we run into issues when we allow ourselves to get too involved or too attached, right? Because when we are open and receptive to others, period, then we're going to respond and react to whatever they are or have or, whatever they prompt, the events that this person sort of sets off in our lives as a result to our connection with them, you know. So then it kind of becomes like, well, a log of things that a person has made happen as a result of your connection to them sometimes. Well, if this didn't happen, then it would have been like this. And then if it wasn't like this, then that wouldn't have happened. And then if that wouldn't have happened, then I wouldn't be here like this, right? So it's not really about blaming anyone, okay, about anything. I don't know why I got that. So let's just talk about these cards that have come up from the Oracle of the Radiant Sun that I have for you. The first card that came up is Moon in Leo. And that's where the moon was right after the eclipse, okay? So, once that energy started to subside, when the moon went into Leo, it was probably, a void of course for a while, for moments, and then it went into Leo. So now it's a waxing moon, right? So the moon is growing again. So this is talking about the appreciation of that lunar cycle, right? Of this new reveal that's happening to you. Because whatever's being revealed to you through this new moon, post new moon, waxing period, you're going to have more of an appreciation for it in the future. You're going to be rejoicing. You're going to be celebrating whatever it is that has changed in your life, right? And you're feeling it on a very high spirit, in a very highly spirited way. Okay, and it's Leo, so it's talking about passionate energy. And this is sextile, you Libra. So, you can really get into the joys of understanding what it actually means for you to appreciate, your personal evolution, right? The evolution that your soul has actually gone through, right? Because it's like now you feel differently, you know what I mean? You act differently, you create differently, you show yourself in a different way, you know what I mean? You are a different being now. And you appreciate that because it really is just a more mature, more authoritative version of yourself, right? You've just evolved to this new place where now you have to involve yourself, okay, in this evolution that's taken place in a new way, right? And you're still evolving. It's not saying that you're just kind of like more so identifying with the evolution, right? You're not fighting the evolution anymore. You are appreciating it. So now you're kind of like, well, I am going to just be this process of change that is me, right? Because we're always changing. The moon is representative of your your body and your physical body, your spirit and your soul and your subconscious, right? And Leo is talking about your heart, right? So this really is talking about new life. It really is talking about a new appreciation for, the abundance that life has to offer. And it really is talking about singing praises just because you understand how important life is, right? You're very gracious in terms of that, right? Even on your own, you're able to appreciate animals, right? The joys of life, okay? And that's something that a lot of you feel like you deserve to have, to appreciate something, right? And I feel like maybe you guys are showing your love and appreciation to someone, some of you, for something, or maybe people are showing their love and appreciation to you for an experience that you've been nurturing, for them, right? Because the Leo is a paternal nurturing energy, right? It feeds the yang, right? It's sort of like gases up and puts energy back into the yang energy, right? It's a is it a benefic planet? I believe it is. I gotta brush up on that, you guys. I'm sorry. Um, but yes, let's continue. Oracle of the Radiant Zone. Let's look at the very center. Intuition. So this is kind of like you definitely needing to understand and trust your intuition more because this is Mercury in Cancer, and Cancer does have some issues with trust. You know what I mean? Because it always has these underlying, there's this skepticism initially, right? Sometimes in a different way than Scorpio has skepticism. This is kind of like feelings, right? Having these feelings come over you and not understanding them quite so much right away as they are happening, and then just kind of like feeling like you want to retreat from these feelings, but you just have to give yourself a moment to process and understand them and make the connections as to what your intuition and what your feelings, your subconscious is telling you. You know what I mean? And I was talking about the moon, and I was talking about your subconscious and all of that as well, and your awareness. So it's talking about the awareness of your intuition and how to use it and honor it, right? Appreciating that part of you, because you are quite intuitive, Libra, as an air sign. But remember, the sevens in the tarot deck, those are related to the Chariot, and they are also related to the seventh house. Okay, so you do have this underlying energy that's connected to Cancer, which is squaring you, right? But it's almost kind of like you don't follow your intuition, right? And that's kind of how you get into trouble, right? That's the lesson for you. Follow your intuition. If there's something that you're thinking of that you feel like, wow, I should do this. This seems like it's telling me something. Do it. Look into it at least. Get it started. You know what I mean? Because Mercury gets things started. It makes the connection. It turns the switch on, right? It brings about the awareness to things, right? Power on, power up. And then, Leo is definitely talking about bringing some awareness to something as well. Maybe your intuition is so strong that you can't believe it sometimes. Maybe it's just kind of like a part of your normal thought pattern. So when you're thinking about something, it might even be your intuition, and you're like, I'm just thinking. You know what I mean? So, like, really listen to that. Like, if there's some things that need to be taken care of in terms of your own security, right, and your being, like yourself, your person, some things that it's gonna take a mature response, right? It's gonna take a mature, version of yourself to respond and react. You right, to call to action, right? This is kind of like, because the sun is definitely acting energy, right? And Leo, it's like acting as well is a thing for some of you Libras, right? Acting authority or actually just acting, right? Because some of you might be actors. Because Cancer energy is talking about creativity as well. So if some of you are thinking about taking a job, or taking an opportunity to shine in a way, you know what I mean, to present yourself, actually, do that, honor that maybe, or show your, and if you're not choosing to do so, show your appreciation for whatever it is that you might be, you know, not taking on. But I feel like there's some opportunities, and I know people say opportunity, but it is, everything is an opportunity. Everything is an opportunity. When you wake up, there's an opportunity to have another day to live. You know what I mean? Every time you see somebody that you always see, there's another opportunity to make that relationship stronger, that bond better. You know, that bond stronger, that relationship better. You know, so everything is an opportunity. So it's not an overly used word. You know what I mean? Everything is that. Oh, this life is an opportunity, right? And that's what this is talking about. The moon is talking about understanding, right? Feeding into your appreciation for your life, right? By doing things, right? By allowing yourself to see when you have changed, right? And picking up on that. Wow, I know that now I need to not behave a certain way, but allow yourself to be that person that has gone through all of the things that you've gone through that now make you this new version of yourself, you know? And it's great because it's like you're being enriched, you're being seasoned, you have all of these different layers to you. You know what I mean? Moon. You know what I mean? Just like the moon has many different layers to it, many different sides. It goes through a lot of different experiences, and with the moon being here in Leo, and then the Mercury being in Cancer, this is saying there are a lot of experiences happening. There's a lot of connections that are happening with the home. Maybe you need to make some connections in terms of like finding a home or like foundations or something like that. This is also a four, so maybe you feel like you may need to assert yourself in some kind of way. You know what I mean? Maybe you need to really try harder to execute the things that you know you would like to get done for yourself that are going to really make a major difference in the next steps, right? In the next phases that you get yourself through. You know what I mean? It's kind of like the importance of, you know, dotting your I's and crossing your T's. You know what I mean? But you won't be able to do that if you don't know where your pen is. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like really like think about what it is that needs to get done and how to get started and really get started and really start so that you can get something done and finish it. You know what I mean? Because I feel like a lot of you guys are feeling like there's some things to do. Because Leo has things to do. And the moon definitely has things to do all the time, right? Responding. Okay? Let me flip over some more cards. You got Idealism, which is Sun and Aquarius. I'll show you what the appreciation card looks like. Right? Appreciating life, being alive is abundance. Hello. There's your opportunity. Right? Still appreciating life for the highs and the lows, right? The ups and the downs, the ins and the outs. Still appreciating it for that, right? Because you have to have that to feel like you are living life, right? With that Leo energy there. If you only experience one facet of life, then how would you be able to appreciate life? You wouldn't even know if you did, right? So allow yourself to get out there and experience all of that is out there for you to enjoy. You know what I mean? And I'm not talking about just the pleasures of life, right? That's what I was talking about just before this, you know, just feeding into that. But yes, you're meant to be your greatest self. Don't be held back by the things that didn't work. Don't put too much focus into old feelings, bad feelings. Don't harbor any resentment, right? Your choice is your choice. It's your choice. That's what I got. You know, because you guys are so we are so infamous for not being able to make the choices that we know intuitively that we should make. There's your seventh house, Libra, related to the seven, Chariot, Cancer, movement forward, making those choices that you know you should make, so that you can feel like you're moving forward, so you can feel like the progression is happening, right? Just feel like you're getting somewhere. Idealism, Sun, which is authoritative, in Aquarius, which is also authoritative. So some of you guys could be dealing with an actual Aquarius, Sun person, Libra. This could be a parent, being that it's a sun here. Um, you know, oh my goodness gracious. But Aquarius is talking about being able to see that, the things that you don't inherently see as being part of you, right? Things that don't come naturally to you, things that you don't normally see yourself doing, being, liking, right? Celebrating, or even opening up to. This is also talking about being comfortable in your environment. Aquarius brings the water down to earth for things to grow so that we can see that, we are all benefiting from the same source. Okay? So this is saying that, you need to appreciate that part of life, because it's saying that now you're boundless, right? Now you have no limits. I mean, we have limits, but like when you realize that your limits aren't any different than anyone else's limits, then you can really push past some of the difficulties of feeling victimized by your experience and by, just the world in general, right? Because sometimes life can put a damper on your confidence just because you might be jaded. You know what I mean? So some of you guys might be feeling jaded because how you may have idealized life in the past, right? Because this is kind of like at the bottom, so this is kind of like what we kind of like already know. But it's like how it's affecting you now intuitively, right? Because it's right underneath the Mercury in Cancer card, which is where the retrograde is going to be happening. So you're going to be getting a lot of intuitive downloads, right? But you're going to have to be going back over and reprocessing these things. You know what I mean? Recounting things, really making sense of some of the feelings that you've had before that you might still be having now, right? It's kind of like, don't go back into those dangerous places that are going to be harmful to your, you know, you, to your heart, your spirit, damaged spirit. You know what I mean? You understand. And it's kind of like if you're feeling some kind of way about someone, right? And you already know, yeah, and you've already communicated this to yourself, then you need to listen, right? Because you're not going to be able to idealize something that has matured and has given you the perspective that you need to be able to, take what it is that that you needed to take from that experience, right, and grow from that. It's kind of like the water coming down to you and having you grow through life, you know what I mean? And then you realizing, wow, now I can like harvest this. Sometimes you have to harvest your experiences and you're like, okay, let me take all of this. Wow, that was a lot of work. And then do something with it, right? Process it in whatever kind of way, release it, stack it, save it, ferment it, do whatever you need to do with it so that you can kind of like be like, wow, that was great. Now I can like move on to something else because I need some kind of like new growth. You know what I mean? Because you can't idealize the same thing your entire life, right? You're going to want to have the same exact thing. Like, your ideals are going to satisfy you for the rest of your life, and that's it. You're like, oh, I'm fine with that. Yep, that's exactly how it is. Yep, that's all I need. Right? No. So you're going to want to experience changes. You're going to want to experience resurgences in your life. You're going to want to experience and do things that are different than the old you would have done, right? Because it's going to be it's going to be very instrumental in the new you flourishing, right? Because it is talking about individuality that allows you to flourish even more beautifully as that individual. You know what I mean? It's kind of like a sense of pride that comes from your uniqueness, because you need to identify with those things that make you unique. That's why the appreciation card is here, and it's the moon in Leo. Okay? But yeah, definitely don't idealize, comfort, the status quo, or don't idealize, keeping things easy, right, for yourself, because things aren't meant to be easy, you know, um, sometimes, but you actually, some of you guys might actually get something that you needed. You know what I mean? Because the sun is actually, is bringing focus onto your friends, right? So there might be a situation that involves your friends that might actually work out really well for you. It might be a deal or something. You know what I mean? There might be a really great deal in terms of like, you know, something with a friend. I don't know what it's going to be. And it's like something is going to be put at ease, or something feels like it's easier, or something will put you at ease in regards to, you know, what this friend might be doing to bring balance to a situation, right? They might be making it seem a little bit calmer for you, taking away the stress of not feeling like you can hang on, right? Because it's not the ideal for you. But whatever the situation is going to be ideal for you. It's going to actually prove to be better than, you thought. Jupiter in Aries. This is talking about enterprise. I'll show you the idealism card, okay? Someone calming a situation for you. Make sure that you don't take advantage of an ideal situation as well. Okay? Understand where it is that you need to play your part, right? Because we all play a part, right? And energy can't be created or destroyed. So put that positive energy out there, right? Because then something's going to come from it. That's why the water bearer, the water, bam, positive energy. Oh, look at what's happening. There's growth. Oh my God, animals, species, things, right? Jupiter in Aries. Well, Jupiter being in Aries, honey, that's a lot. I feel like it's pretty playful and it's pretty good. It's almost kind of like there's growth to something that you own, right? That is you. Because Aries is talking about, identity, and it's talking about the awareness of self, right? And enterprise is talking about how you're gonna see the value in yourself. You know what I mean? And this is like, look at these placements on the palm, right? It's like getting your palm read. And when you get your palm read and people tell you information about yourself, it's almost kind of like you value yourself in a different way, right? There's like this abundance of information that kind of like opens up this world of yourself to you. You know what I mean? And it's almost like you feel even more bountiful, right? You're like, wow, I'm bigger than I thought. So this is saying that you are bigger than you think, right? You should put energy and fuel into that, right? You should encourage yourself to believe that you are the it person, right? Because you have to be the it person because it's you. You are living your life. I feel like everybody should be their own it person, okay? Because how are you going to believe that you can do anything for yourself if you don't believe in yourself? Okay? So some of you guys need to believe in yourself a little bit more. You know what I mean? Nothing is going to be perfect. Nothing is going to be ideal. You know what I mean? But you can push past the difficulties and show yourself where things can work out in your life and where things don't have to be difficult, because everything isn't always going to be difficult. Okay. Um yeah, so this is also saying that there's like going to be like an opportunity that's going to open up for you to get involved in. And I feel like it might even be a little bit more involved than you thought. Something that you got involved in might become bigger than you thought it would be. I'm repeating myself. But it does seem to be like it would be like a positive thing for you. You know what I mean? Enterprise is next to idealism. So this is going to be a really great way for you to use your skills and your talents and your gifts or whatever it is that you make or do or whatever, right? Because we're dealing with Aries, Cancer, Leo energy. Those are very creative energies, very creative forces. And then we're talking about authority with this sun and Aquarius energy right here as well. You might be becoming the authority on something that you are doing as an individual, right? It's kind of like growth, right? By doing the work, doing what it takes, right? Um, Let me go ahead and flip over some more of these cards. Oh, all right. So there might be somebody. Okay. So the flirtation card is next to the intuition card. So if you guys are thinking that somebody is kind of like got their eye on you, then they probably are trying to flirt with you. But that doesn't mean that you have to respond or, you know, take on any responsibility to respond or react to this, because you don't have to. You know what I mean? Just remember that. Also, it's Venus in Sagittarius, so this could also be like, sex. Some of you might need to get out more, you know what I mean, and connect with people, experience things. Um, go to bars, go to social events, because it's Venus, and Venus is very social, you know what I mean? And Sagittarius is definitely talking about getting out there and sharing information with people, talk about things that you both might be interested in, get people to see like what it is that, is cool about you, or whatever it is that, it's kind of like your experiences and things like that. Also, don't talk too much about yourself when you are going on dates and in a flirtatious mode with people, because then it becomes like a turn off. So the energy of the flirting kind of like gets deflated, right? So definitely make sure that there's an even exchange, and don't just do like rapid fire communication and just talk about yourself. Let the other person say a little bit about themselves as well, and also don't be awkward in your flirtation. You know what I mean? Or when people are trying to flirt with you, I feel like you guys know when people are flirting with you, but then you like try to pretend like you don't know. You know what I mean? Concentration, Saturn in Gemini. Gemini is a sign that, is very quick, right? Very witty, very playful, very childlike. And sometimes it can be a busybody too, or your mind might be busy. There's a lot of things going on in that head. And Saturn is saying, slow down, right? It wants to um, condense things so that there is a an adherence to what's needed to be learned. You know what I mean? It's kind of like what's the point of everything here, right? That's what Saturn wants to know. What's the point of everything here? You need to really understand where it is that you have to um, be a little bit more of a critical thinker, right? Try to get yourself to a place where you can make short distance goals and long distance, or short distance plans and long distance plans, because Saturn is talking about long distances that go for long distances that go for long periods of time, right? And then Gemini, that energy is talking about short distances, short periods of time, bam, 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 bam. And this is saying that something is going to take a little bit more time, right? And concentration and just a little bit more of your awareness and your consideration for it to become the ideal situation for you. And for you to feel like it's an enterprise that you could definitely thrive in. What time is it? Okay, so it really is, you really do have to concentrate. You really do have to stop being distracted by everything around you and really listen to what has been going on. Not around you, but what it's almost kind of like you've had all of these thoughts that you have been having to suppress about some things that you needed to take some care of, right? Some things that you needed to take care of. And I feel like, you're always going to be able to be distracted by stuff. You know what I mean? Like you're always going to be able to be distracted by stuff. So you're going to have to be very deliberate. You're going to have to practice diligence. There's going to have to be some planning that is, useful, right? And not just kind of like, yeah, maybe, okay, I'll think about it. That's good. That's an idea, right? Put those ideas into form. Write things down. That's also what this is saying. Definitely write things down. Just get better about doing it. It's like when you try to get somebody to use a planner that like isn't used to using a planner, they're not gonna be like a whiz at using the planner. They're gonna have to like practice healthy habits, right? We don't have any Virgo cards here, but we have, a Gemini card. We have one Mercury. But yes, definitely some concentration is needed um, because time is of the essence. And yeah, you've got to center your focus. Okay? Maybe you need to get off of social media. Not get off, but you know what I mean? Not be on as much as you are. Right? Because when you look at concentration, like all of these swords are all of the things that come in to distract you, right? And when you're distracted, then you become vulnerable, right? Like a spider web. Like, say a spider was distracted, a spider web is vulnerable, right? It is. But then it's also like something that, a spider web is work that has taken time and that has taken, diligence, concentration, very detailed, right? Processing. And then it's very delicate too. So there's a situation that might end up that is delicate for you that you need to really concentrate on and try to get a process undergoing, right? Underway. Because there's just gonna be things are just gonna keep happening because Saturn does talk about buildup as well of things. Don't ignore the obvious. Okay, definitely that's what Saturn is saying. Don't ignore the obvious. Hmm. Risk, Saturn in Aries, and this is in its fall here. So when Saturn is in Aries, it has to kind of like just go, deal with the punches, but it doesn't want to do that because Saturn is kind of like an authoritative planet. You know what I mean? And it's not going to be ruled and it's not going to be, bullied by Mars or Aries. So I would say that with that energy, with Saturn being in Aries and this card being here, it's saying that you're not going to be intimidated by that which might prompt you to feel intimidated, right? Uh, it also could be something trying to uh, prevent you from making a bad, um, taking a bad action, right? So there might, something might prevent you from moving forward with something because it may not be in your best interest to do that. Also, you have to understand where the risks are involved when you do ignore certain things, right? Because concentration is saying that you might be ignoring some things, or you might just be slow at reacting, or slow at responding, right? Slow at noticing, slow at getting a process underway. And it could be you're taking a risk by doing this, so you have to understand in the places where like this has probably happened before, because this is Saturn, right? Teaching you a lesson, talking about the things that you've needed to learn over time, right? These are pretty good cards, you know what I mean? But the risk card is talk and the concentration card together are a little bit problematic, because it's like if you're going to be taking a risk like this, then you need to be concentrating, right? And if you're going to be, putting yourself out there in a different way, right? In a way that is going to involve, you having more strength of character, right? You're going to probably have to show yourself in a stronger way. Um, how you execute things is going to have to be a little bit more deliberate. Um, but when you take risks, you also end up getting rewarded graciously, right? Handsomely. So, taking the risk actually might be a good thing for you. This could involve going into new territory, right? Doing something you haven't done before. You're taking a risk by doing something you haven't done before. It might involve, learning, right? It's beginning to do something that each actually might be career oriented, or it might have to do something with money, right? Learning. Everything has to do with something with learning, right? This could be you starting a new business venture that you feel like you might be taking a risk by doing so. You feel like there's something that can be, that can bloom from this, right? There's the likelihood that something else will come out of it, or you're going to be rewarded, right, by taking this risk. Oh my goodness gracious, I might have to do a part one, because I'm like, whoa. Probably because I'm drinking that silly tea and I haven't like had it before. Hold on one second, you guys. Turn the AC on. Okay. All right. Moon and Cancer, friendship. Mars and Leo, egotism. Mars and Virgo, criticism. So the moon in Cancer is talking about, sensitivity of feelings, being open and welcoming to others' feelings, sharing feelings. Also, it's talking about being emotionally reactive, responsive, and it's also talking about having to nurture your own emotional experience. How can you take responsibility for your your emotional self, and how you can really achieve great things by diving into those places that you feel open to love, and loving others, loving yourself, This is also talking about, showing your love through creative ventures, right? Nurturing others through food, nurturing others through art, right? The moon in Cancer is also where the new moon was, right? Exactly. I was talking about that earlier. And it's the midhaven as well for us Libra risings. My moon is there. This is also talking about emotional structures and emotional security, right? Emotional well being by you asserting yourself to understand your emotions more, being the authority over your emotions, right? Understanding where you need that time to yourself, right? Understanding that, your friends are there to help you when you need them. If you just, assert, prompt, initiate those connections with them, right? Let them know that you're available. Mars in Leo is talking about, just piercing through, feeling confident in oneself, regardless of what other people might say, but being aware of your own ego and how it might affect other people, but most importantly, how it affects you. Because it's Mars in Leo, right? Mars is a planet of self-orientation, and Leo is also a sign of self-orientation, right? Don't let your ego get too big for your spirit to shine through, and don't let the ego of others dampen your spirit or your soul or your pride for yourself, because this also talks about how the ego of others affects you, right? Don't allow it to make you feel small. And also, you are learning a thing or two about what it means to be humble and what it means to allow yourself to see where it is that you might need to make some adjustments in terms of, your energy that might be too much for people. Some of you, some of us. You also need to be very discriminate and understand where you need to make some critical change, some habits, right? You need to initiate some good habits, right? You need to create more structures around your daily life, right? You need to allow yourself to see where you might need to be a little bit more encouraged or a little bit more motivated. What are some of the things that you can do to help yourself stay motivated or be a little bit more on top of things, writing things down, right? Be a little bit more responsive to things that happen in the day to day, right? Don't let things pile up. You know what I mean? Kind of like take things as they come, you know what I mean? Being able to jump around and tackle some things here and there. I feel like that would be good for you as well, Libra. Yeah, just definitely keep your eye on the details of things. That's going to benefit you, in the day to day in your daily life. All right, so that is going to be the first part of July and August, and I will get back to you with the second part.